And good afternoon, White County, Georgia. Don Strength with you in the White County Office of Public Safety. I want to spend a few minutes this afternoon talking to you about the possibility of severe weather across White County and Northeast Georgia this evening. I know that a lot of you have been seeing posts on social media. Yeah, you've been seeing regular media cover the possibility of severe weather. And quite honestly, we have a little bit of a unique setup that's going to be taking place as we go throughout the remainder of this afternoon and tonight. And there is that possibility that we will have an increasing chance of severe weather as we go through the overnight, which is typically just the reverse. Normally, when cold fronts move into Georgia, we see that threat decrease, especially if it's an overnight event. However, tonight's event may be a little bit different in that we may see the chance of severe weather increase in time as we go throughout the overnight hours tonight. I know a lot of you are going to be in the bed asleep, so I want to make sure that everyone is aware of what the possibilities are as we go throughout this evening and during the overnight across White County, particularly, and across all of North Georgia. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first graphic. This is the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma, and this is depicting where we think the best chances of severe weather will be. We have a scale of 1 through 5, 5 being the greatest risk, 1 being the least risk. 1 would be a marginal risk, and a 5 would be a high risk. Well, you can see there across most of Tennessee, a good chunk of Alabama, and then across northwest Georgia down through Atlanta Metro, down to around Macon and back toward Donaldsonville, we have an enhanced risk. That's a level 3 out of 5. Now, you really need to start paying attention anytime there's a risk of severe weather. But when we start to see a yellow or slight risk, that orange or enhanced risk, that's time to really be weather aware. Now, what we think is going to happen where you see that enhanced risk, that's where the greatest chance of severe weather will be. Actually, the absolute greatest chance will be even further to the north, up across portions of Kentucky. But we do have a significant risk of severe weather across West Georgia and even across Northeast Georgia, where you see the slight risk category. There is a decent chance that we will at least see strong to marginally severe thunderstorms. And that could be gusty winds of anywhere from 40 to 60, maybe even 70 mile per hour. We also could see some hail, and there is that possibility of a few tornadoes this evening also. Let's take a look at our next slide. I'm going to show you what's kind of unusual about this. Certainly not unusual to have the threat of severe weather this time of year across Northeast Georgia. It is spring. This is the way it's supposed to be. But typically speaking, we see that risk of severe weather decrease as we go throughout the overnight hours. Tonight, however, we may have a rather unique setup that will be highly conditional. The computer models are suggesting that we will have a plume of moisture with veering winds that will move up from the southwest right across East Alabama and then across West Georgia up into the Atlanta metro area, and perhaps continuing to move off to the northeast. Back up to that first slide, if you will, Bryce, because I want to focus in on one thing. This is at about 10 o'clock tonight. 11 p.m. over on the eastern side of the time zone. And you'll notice that we have some really big supercell thunderstorms developing there right across East Alabama. We're talking about places like Roanoke, Alabama, Ashland over in Clay County, all the way down to around the Auburn, Opelika area, or the I-85 corridor that runs up to Atlanta. And I'm talking about this stuff, if the computer is correct, develops in a matter of about 30 to 40 minutes, and it just really explodes into big, strong, powerful supercell thunderstorms that certainly will have the capability of going tornadic. Also understand that we're going to have veering in the upper levels of the atmosphere taking place at the same time as those winds rush to the northeast from the southwest, pushing this moisture out ahead of the main line of thunderstorms. So this may be a 1-2 punch for parts of East Alabama, West Georgia, and even up here in Northeast Georgia. We cannot rule out the possibility of this plume of moisture making it up here before the main line moves through. Now, advance to the next slide, and you'll see the direction that the computer thinks this is all going to move, and that's to the northeast. Well, that would bring it right across the Atlanta metro and then perhaps even up into northeast Georgia. Also, notice the main line of storms still hanging back over northern Alabama and northwest Georgia at this hour, and this is going to be around midnight tonight. If this computer model verifies and is correct. Of course, computer models are not exact, but they do give you an idea of what we may see as we move in to this weather event later on this evening. Normally, this time of year, we watch for a warm front to lift north, and then the cold front comes in, and that's what brings us the severe weather. The last several opportunities for severe weather we've had across northeast Georgia, the warm front just never made it this far. So we stayed cool, and that's helped suppress the instability which you have to have severe weather. Well, in this particular setup, that's not an issue. We have warm temperatures all across the southeastern United States, and if this area of moisture and veering wind does develop, as the computers are suggesting they may, across East Alabama, that could enhance the risk for severe weather. Of course, we hope it's a big bust. We hope that we get nothing much more than a few rumbles of thunder and some breezy winds and some rain. That's certainly a possibility. But I also want you to know, especially since you're going to be in the bed asleep tonight, we could be on the other end of that pendulum as well. We could be looking at some severe weather midnight or shortly after across northeast Georgia, lasting maybe until 3, 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Let's take the radar shot. This is current. This is what's actually happening back off to our west at this hour. And we're looking at the state of Mississippi. And we're seeing some thunderstorms developing now around Jackson, Mississippi. And actually, these storms are in the process of going severe. We have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued near Crystal Springs in Mississippi. That is going to be south of Jackson, Mississippi, and even further to the southwest. Near Fayette, Mississippi, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued there. Special weather statement just south of Philadelphia, Mississippi. There's not a tremendous amount of severe weather taking place in Mississippi at the moment. But this line of thunderstorms is continuing to develop. It will continue pushing off to the east, northeast. It will move across Alabama and into West Georgia, probably somewhere around 9, 10 p.m. this evening, and then into northeast Georgia around the midnight hour, continuing on into the wee hours of the morning. We are also noting severe thunderstorm warnings back near Tupelo, Mississippi at this hour as well. A brand new tornado watch just issued for extreme northeastern Mississippi and northwest Alabama that stretches all the way up into Tennessee, even up into Kentucky, and all the way to the Great Lakes. So this is going to be a far-reaching weather event from the Great Lakes all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, which again, folks, this is not uncommon. There's a lot of fear mongering going on out there on social media. Nothing unusual at all about having a severe weather event the first week of April in the Southeast. It is a little bit unusual that we're looking at an increasing chance of severe weather as we go throughout the overnight hours instead of decreasing, but I've seen that happen before multiple times as well. It's just not that common. So let me remind you how you can stay safe. Surviving severe weather, 90% of it, folks, is just simply knowing what's going on around you so that you know when to go to your safe place. White County offers you several opportunities to do that. Of course, we'll broadcast here on our social media channel. And also, we invite you to sign up for White County emergency notifications. You can do that by texting White CO Alerts 99411, or just simply visit the website you see there on the screen. You can also go to White County website, and there are links there to get you over to Code Red to sign up. Now, you'll be able to get those notifications. They are National Weather Service generated notifications that come through Code Red and go straight to your phone. And also, your phone comes from the manufacturer already turned on to receive Amber Alerts, emergency alerts, public safety alerts, and test alerts. Now, you only get tornado warning and flood warning on your phone with the WIA alerts. That's provided you haven't turned it off. And to make sure that your WIA alerts are turned on your phone, just simply go to your notifications and you will see government alerts. Make sure that's all turned on. That way, you at least get the tornado warnings and the flood warnings. Now, if you want severe thunderstorm watches and warnings and tornado warnings and even winter weather watches and warnings, you need to sign up for Code Red. Make sure if you, for some reason, can't do this, make sure you have a good weather app on your phone. One of the greatest ideas is to make sure you have a NOAA weather radio. Those things are easy to program now, and they're the baseline for making sure that you are prepared during times of severe weather. We do have 18 outdoor warning sirens across the county here in White County, Georgia. But folks, understand the outdoor warning siren system is designed to warn you when you are outdoors. They are not designed for indoor residential or business warning. So don't rely on hearing a siren wake you up at 2 a.m. in the morning with a thunderstorm taking place outside. That's not what they're designed for. They're designed to get your attention if you're outdoors, maybe walking a trail or at a ball field. Or maybe even walking in the grocery store out in the parking lot. That's what they're there for, also at schools. So keep that in mind. Make sure you're weather aware. Have a good source of weather information. We're going to watch this, and we'll continue to update you as we go throughout this evening across White County. But once again, just know that there is a decent chance we could see some severe weather toward the midnight hour this evening across Northeast Georgia. Stay safe, White County.